Hello everyone. In our today's topic, we will going to discuss the Malaysian Air Force, the bidding for the light combat training aircraft. The why the Malaysia wants to buy the light combat training aircraft. There is a reason behind it because recently the Chinese Air Force has invaded the Malaysian airspace. And Malaysia is a very peaceful country which is in the South China region. That is why the Chinese are bullying the Malaysia through their power technique. So so that is why these are the reasons, and there are other reasons. The Malaysia have a aging old aircraft which is Hawk 108 and the Hawk 208, which is a very old aircraft. That is why the Royal Malaysian Air Force Capability Development Program 2055 and the CAP 55 said that the said that Malaysia is going through the phases of the older aircraft. So they wanted to replace those aircraft with the light combat training aircraft. So that is why they called for that bidding process, and for that reasons there were so many bidders came and fetches the Malaysian biddings. And there previously at the inceptions of the bidding process there were so many bidders, but only six bidders were chosen by the Malaysian government, and those six bidders are the India's HAL. HAL means the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited came up with the new planes, which is the HAL Tejas 1A. And the Malaysian second one is the Malaysian Aerospace Technology Systems with their MiG 35. China's CATIC with the L-15. Korean Airspace, KAI, came up with FA-50. Italy's Leonardo with M35346 and the Turkish TAI with Hurjet. So among those bidders, only two were chosen at last by the Royal Malaysian Air Force, and those two aircrafts are the HAL Tejas and the TAI Hurjet. The TAI actually stand for Tark Aeronautical Industry Limited. So why the other were rejected? Because there were so many JF-17s were there, YAK was there, and T-7A of the Americas was there, but the China and the Pakistan's JF-17s was rejected because of the mechanical clauses, and the YAK 130 was rejected by the Royal Malaysian Air Force. It was a Russian light training aircraft, and T-7A was the Americans. America was not interested with the clauses that the Malaysia put into the put as in conditions to do the business with the Malaysia. The clauses, what are the clauses? Clauses were there. The Malaysian government has mandated that the prospective suppliers of the 18 light combat aircraft LCA for the Royal Malaysian Air Force, which are now being examined, have to source or acquire at least 30% of the products and the services from the local firms. So those who wanted to do the business with the Malaysia has to do the business with the local firms of the Malaysia. So that will going to help the Malaysian economy, and that will going to help the Malaysian people to generate the jobs, get the jobs, the Malaysian government to generate the jobs for their peoples. So that is why the Malaysian government put the clause over there. But what are the problems arises from the foreign contractor to abide by these clauses put up by the Malaysian government? Yes, because the technology is very precious. The other bidders never ever wanted to share their technology with the Malaysian government or any local bidders. So that is why these are the planes. There were so many bidders at the inceptions, but so many of them has rejected that offer. So that is why the at last only two plane was accepted by the Royal Malaysian Air Force, and they are abide by the clauses. And the HAL Tejas and the Hurjet, both of them wanted to share the technology with the local firms. That 30% clauses has been put by the Royal Malaysian Air Force and the Malaysian government. They are abide by that rule. Now we will going to discuss that what are the prospect of choosing the Tejas and the problem regarding the Tejas. There are some prospect that why the Malaysian Air Force will going to choose the Tejas, and why there are some problems regarding the Tejas. Because why they will going to choose? Because HAL put on the aerobatic display at the Dubai Air Show that was specifically targeted specifically targeted towards the Malaysian defense. In the Dubai Air Show, the HAL Tejas actually showed to the Malaysian peoples, or the Malaysian people, those who are present in the air show, and the India also agreed to accept the Malaysian government clauses, and that is why that is why our government think that that their aircraft HAL Tejas will going to be accepted by the Malaysian government or Royal Malaysian Air Force. Except the Malaysia, except the Malaysia, there are another nations those who wants to take the HAL Tejas, and those nations are Argentina and the Egypt. They wanted to take the HAL Tejas from India, and and Tejas Mark 1A fighter has some state of art technology. That is why I'm going to say that that is why the Royal Malaysian Air Force has to choose the HAL Tejas, because Hurjet is very new in the market and not yet done its flying compatibility, and not yet been proven into the market. So that is why I think the HAL Tejas Hurjet will going to be discussed later. And the Tejas 1A fighter incorporated with the mid-air refueling it with the AESA radar. AESA radar. The Mark 1A came up with an AESA radar, which is a state-of-art technology, which is a new technology in the radar systems. Came up with the EW capability and the ability to fire the BVR missile. What is BVR missile? BVR missiles is actually beyond the visual range missile. So India also agreed to give the Malaysia BVR missile, and it also transport the air to the ground bombs, attack the system that can be deployed to hit the targets on land or at sea. It is capable to target his targets on the land or on the sea, and it is a supersonic fighter jet and the service ceiling of 50,000 feet. So it is an excellent aircraft. LCA Tejas is only 8.20 meter wingspan and the length is 13.20 meters, which is a very small but the very effective aircraft. And the height is only 4.40 meters. And it is a fourth generation fighter. The Malaysian government has to remember it is a fourth generation fighter. Maybe it is not a 4.5 or fifth generation fighter, but it is a fourth generation fighter, because that is a training aircraft with a combat facility. India first demonstrated why the Indian aircraft should be chosen by the Malaysia. There is another reason, because India first demonstrated that aircraft in 2016 at the Bahrain Air Show, and then again in the 2018 in that air show, in that I mean the actually in the Bahrain Air Shows actually held in the 2018. The HAL reportedly aims to establish the logistics hubs in the Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Sri Lanka to promote the plane in the South Asia and the West Asia and the Northern Africa. India is willing to give her aircraft to the countries those who cannot afford the expensive European or the American aircraft. So that is why these countries has been targeted by the India to do the business with, like the Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, North African countries. Their economy is fragile and their economy is not very strong like the others economies. So that is why the India targeted these countries to do the business with, because HAL Tejas is not a very expensive aircraft. It is a $50 million aircraft, and Malaysia will going to, if they accepted that, they will going to take the 18 aircraft right now, and after that they will going to take the 18 more. And now we will going to discuss the problems regarding the Tejas, because the Tejas actually come during the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Atal Bihari Vajpayee actually wanted to build the aircraft which will be indigenous, but at that time India doesn't have the technology of building the aircraft of their own. That is why India has to import some of the state of the art equipment from other countries. Other countries means Britain, Israel. So what are the things India imported? Actually the machine, the engine has imported from Russia, the the ejection seats from UK, and the various other countries has given India so many other parts of the plane. It is not fully indigenous. India doesn't build it fully indigenously. So that is why if those countries doesn't agree to share their technology with the Royal Malaysian Air Force, then it will be problem for the India. So these are these problems India is facing right now. And now we will going to talk about the Turkey's Hurjet, TAI Hurjet, actually the Turk Aerospace Industries Hurjet. It is in training and the attack aircraft, and but this plane has not yet take the ground test. It will going to take the ground test in 2022, an advanced flight test, not even take a primary flight test. Now it will going to take the advanced, yeah, advanced mature flight will be held on the March 18, 2023. And according to the GM Kotil, is that GM Kotil actually TAI general manager, whose name is, who's actually the Dr. Kotil, Dr. Temil Kotil, actually has said that their their trainer will be delivered to the Air Force Command. Their own Air Force will going to take that aircraft in 2025, and the armed versions, that is Hurjet C, expected to last until 2027. So this airplane is not even in the market. And TAI has already launched an office in Malaysia, and they wanted to lure the Malaysian government and the Malaysian peoples that the Hurjet is the best state of art aircraft. I do not know why they are saying that. They have also opened a science park in Malaysia. So Hurjet is basically a single engine seat trainer aircraft, and with an advanced avionics and the high performance features. But they gave the world the descriptions without the detailment. The detail is not there. Detail is not out there. Nobody has seen that aircraft flying. So how the Malaysia will going to choose that? Maybe they have the wisdom of choosing it. I don't know. The Hurjet project actually launched to replace the Turkey's outdated T-38s. That planes will be replaced by the Hurjet. And Turkey also have the F-15s, F5 planes, F5 planes aerobatic team aircraft that will also going to be replaced by the Hurjet. And they also have the modify it to operate for the naval asset. They have to modify it for the naval asset, because Turkey also have the problems in their regions. But their aeroplanes is not yet take the field. It will join the Turkish Air Force in 2025. Their armed aircraft will going to join in 2027, not before the 2027. Why the Turkey is so desperate? Why the Turkey is so desperate about the for selling their aircraft? There is a reason, because the Turkey has already bought S-400 from Russia, and the Russia is an adversary of the United States. That is why United States has kicked them out of F-35 program, and they are out of that program. That is why they will not going to accept the F-35 from USA. And USA has also put the ban on the Turkey under the CATSA rule. The CATSA stands for the countering America's adversaries through the sanctionary. It's basically a sanction. So that is why Turkey is broke. Their lira is falling. Lira is their currency. Their lira is falling. Their economy is fragile. So that is why they want to sell their aircrafts to the Malaysian, uncrafted aircraft to the Malaysian government. Okay, then we came up with a conclusion with questions. The question is that how many countries Malaysia share its border? How many countries? The options are Brunei, Indonesia, Thailand. Second is Brunei, Singapore, Vietnam. Third is Vietnam, Laos, Singapore. Fourth is Vietnam, Myanmar, and Indonesia. If you want to give me the answer, you can simply mail me, or any questions regarding these topics, you can mail me, or you can give your answer in the comment sections. It is your choice. Thank you very much.